See, pranayam, basically fresh air is important. That's a good question. Actually, one should not do yoga or pranayam in a windy place, but where air is okay, you can do. So if possible, if you can have a nice outdoor or a nice spacious room, then it's fine. Or outside garden. See, now like Amruta is sitting outside. That's a very nice place. So very peaceful. So you're able to, or any spacious place. So everybody else, I can see if there is, like you are sitting in a space where there is enough, there is no clutter, right? So if I move my computer, you will see all the clutter here. Anyway, so you can, it has to be very spacious. So if space is there, then the breathing, because when you breathe out, you're taking out all the toxins out, right? So there should not be a wall or something right in front. So you should have sufficient space to breathe out, and then fresh air to come in. That's the whole goal. Okay.
No, but in general, inside of the house, the fresh air is may not be there, correct? Always it's an air condition.
Yes, that's true.
So
It's always preferable if it is fresh air outside, if you can get fresh air. But the only condition is it should not be windy. If it's windy, then it affects you. So then it should be, so for various reasons, it should be a, okay. So
Prabhu, for pranayam session, can you stop and restart the recording so that?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that. I did. Yeah. So now, so the most important thing is when you breathe in Ujjayi, expand your chest. There are 3 types of breaths. First is clavicular. That is when you are very tired, like with the clavicle, but you don't use the clavicle in general. That is like the worst form of breathing. The next is belly. And many people do it opposite. When you breathe in, their belly goes in. I don't know how is that. That's how ulta we are living. But when you breathe out, your belly should go in. It's like you squeeze a balloon, the the air comes out. But most of us, we end up doing opposite. So when you squeeze the balloon, the air comes out. So similarly here, the very important thing about pranayam, if you want it to be really successful, the first is Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha. So when you sit down to do pranayam, the lower perineum means the organ, the muscle between the genital and the anus. The perineum. The perineum should be nicely compact, like you suck it in, like that. Now, the next is the lower abdomen, I mean just above your genital, this region, what do you call the waist, this part, just above your genital region, this part, that should also be like inside nicely. So your perineum and this part, it should be tight. So when are the times you can do it tight? So whenever you breathe out. So whenever you breathe out, it can become tighter. So you breathe in, and when I breathe out, so when I breathe in, I fill up here, okay? And what happens when this swells up, when this is big, then the lower part, that should go in, okay? The waist, it should go in. So, and when I breathe out, then the belly also goes in. That's the best pranayama, where you are fully inhaling and you are kind of tightening till here. You are filling up the air here, actually, just below the chest region here, this part. And when I'm not filling up belly, right? So if I don't focus on this, then what happens when I fill in, my belly can come out. I don't want my belly to come out fully. So where do I focus? The chest and the immediate below, the upper abdomen, you can say here.
So when we fill in, then belly also squeeze in. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, the lower abdomen, yeah, lower part of the belly, that kind of squeezes in. So when you fill the, see, moment you lift your chest up, okay, moment you lift your chest up, what do you see? Your belly goes in a little bit, correct? If I come down, then my belly comes out, right? Nicely,
Yes.
right? So it's the back position. So if I lift up my back nicely, then my lower abdomen I can squeeze in, right? It goes in, correct?
Yes.
So what should be the position of your back during pranayam? It should be straight. Like a snake standing on its tail. So if we do that, back, if you manage to keep the back straight, and when you breathe in, you fill up the upper chest and the immediately below the chest, this part, you'll feel like a bulge here. And your lower abdomen is inside. Okay.
So Prabhu, like when we fill in, then I feel like the shoulders also go up.
Yeah, that's okay. But the chest also, not only the shoulders, chest also. Yeah, that's fine. That's how it should be.
Okay.
Your back should become straighter, right? Okay. And then gradually as you breathe out, you should breathe out. Then it should. So that is important. So as you breathe in, your chest fills up, and as you breathe out, your lower abdomen should go in. Okay. So in this way, that's how you should breathe in and out deeply in the Ujjayi breathing. So that's why the sitting posture and the back posture is very, very important here. Okay, now let's do this to keep a timer. So let's start my timer stopwatch. Okay. So let us do the breathing now. Every minute we breathe about, average person breathes about. Tanya ji, you should answer this. How many times do you breathe in a minute? Average person? I think it's 15. So it's usually 12 to 20. Okay. So now we will see in Ujjayi how much we are doing in a minute. Okay. All right. Keep your back straight. So I'll just start the top watch. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tighten the perineum and lower abdomen. Breathe in. Squeeze the perineum and lower abdomen. Breathe out. Okay, third time. Breathe in. Squeeze perineum, lower abdomen. One more time. Breathe in. Now squeeze. Breathe out. So we exactly ended up with 4 breaths in 1 minute. If you half that, you will live as much as a tortoise without the shell. So breathing, if you see, if you with this 12, you have reduced it to 1/3. So you already gained 3 minutes in your life. Okay. And so if you, by the end of this class, you will gain half an hour more. So you can tell Yamaraj half an hour baad mein aana. So you already gained half an hour today.
Prabhu,
So,
what's the reason for that? Is it less oxygen, less oxidation of body?
see, the thing is, when you're born, just like you get salary, they count how much salary they give you. So how many breaths you are going to breathe is already decided. Oh, Ashish, okay, 10 million breaths done, right? 10 million first breath, that's it. The last. So 10 million. So the 10 million, but how long you can breathe that 10 million is up to you. So if I breathe slowly, then, you know, your 10 million, you can go up to, I don't know, Rahul Gandhi's grandson or something. So it's slow, deeper breathe that you breathe, you longer you live. So that's why it is said the tortoise, it's measured in the number of breaths. So the slower you breathe longer. Prana ayama. So increase your lifespan by slowing down your breath.
Probably then you shouldn't do aerobic exercises.
Oh, that's the point, no? That's what I explained, that your mental balance and your lifespan is measured in number of breaths.
So which means when you do aerobic exercises, you're breathing
faster and getting more tired and mind's getting more disturbed. It's not good for lifespan. It's not good for calming down. So that's the thing. No, it's not yogic. It's not Shastra. Correct? So like that. Good question. Yeah. So that's the difference between yoga and exercise. Right? So in yoga, you breathe deeper, longer, you live longer, right? You can take your pension more longer. So, what is that?
Who pays pension nowadays?
What is that?
But it is important to increase your cardiovascular exercise for longevity. So they talk about different kinds of exercises. So yoga is one part. Then they talk about stretching, yoga and stretching, then cardiovascular meditation for the mind. But it is important to bring up your heart rate to increase the oxygenation and pumping of the heart, exercise your heart. But,
that's what we do in the asana.
Okay.
So in asana, you do all that. You pump the body, you do all the stretches, right? Now, the Surya Namaskara includes squeezing the heart. The Surya Namaskara, that is really working on your heart. It's increasing your heartbeat, everything. But at the same time, you are breathing slow, deeper. You're breathing deeper, but your heart rate increases in Surya Namaskar for sure. And I did it very softly, calmly today. But if you actually do it fast, you will feel that, you know, you will feel, if you actually do it fast, you will feel when you do it like today morning when I did, after my practice, I felt like some cloth went through a washing machine, completely squeezed out. And when I do, my teacher doesn't give me any break or anything. After this, it has to be continuous. You know, it's like heating. So that heat, Surya Namaskara takes you through that heat, stretching. And when you do it continuously, once your body heats up after Surya Namaskar, when you do the asanas continuously, the muscles also stretch better.
Yes, true.
From cold body, okay. I thought what happened from behind. Okay. So, okay, my chia water came in. So, dragon fruit. So, so when we do the Surya Namaskar, actually Surya Namaskar 1, Surya Namaskar 2, but by the end of Surya Namaskar 2, your cardio is really pumping, you know, it's really good. Then when you do the advanced asanas, like I did today, oh my God, then you have to do every asana includes Surya Namaskar. Every asana, it's like 14 positions of Surya Namaskar, then you get into the asana. By the time you do Surya Namaskar and get into that, your cardio is really, really.
Namaskar is pretty it does make your heart pump. That is true.
Very much. But see, the traditional people, they don't use anything else. See, I've learned something in the balance part is that in the asanas, if our technique is right, like you bend the knee a little in the morning, in the Surya Namaskar, and then you stretch the hamstring. See, when we do this properly with that technique, your pain factor is less, injury factor is less. That's the main thing. And then when you do it in that sequence, you get all the exercises needed. Then the balance of the body growth also. See, what happens is yoga is balancing both physical and mental growth. Prana, body, prana, and mind. All three is synchronized. That's the best part about yoga. So its growth, it can literally overcome anything. And so that's why the sequence that I am practicing, that Ashtanga, there are different sequences. One is the Bihar School of Yoga also, they have a technique, they have a sequence, but Ashtanga has the best sequence by Krishnamacharya. That gives you everything, every possible angle in the body, whatever stretch is required in the full primary series, it is there, which will take like 45 minutes to 1 hour if you do it every day. But if you learn the sequence nicely. But that takes time because many of us are overcoming some injuries, some weaknesses. So depending on the degree we practice, we can progress. But anyway, the main point in that is the main thing in to improve your asana practice is to improve your energy levels, and energy level is improve with breathing. So that's why in the beginning of the class today, I explained that we should focus on deeper breathing. So deep breathing, keep your back straight. Okay. Wait, I didn't. Okay. So keep your back straight. Now breathe deeply. So we saved 1 minute in our life. Now we saved 3 minutes. 12, yeah. So you're already 2 minutes richer. So now let's add a few more minutes to our life. Okay. So next 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. So we'll do the deep breathing. I will start the timer again. Okay.
Prabhu, when you say deep breathing, inhale and then stop and then exhale, or inhale and exhale?
Inhale and exhale. There's no stopping here. Okay. Exhale.
Prabhuji, like you said, we have to breathe from our throat.
Yeah, focus on the throat region. You're pulling air from here. So third breath. Exhale. Fifth. Fill up your chest. Keep your back straight. Exhale. As you exhale, take the lower abdomen inside. Breathe out nicely. Inhale. Vignesh ji, you have to sit down and do this. Deep breathing only. Okay. Inhale. This will very much help actually. This is best for diabetics also. It's very, very good because it calms you down. Okay. Slow breathing, as slow as you can. Inhale. Deeper, nicely. Lift up your upper chest. Exhale. As you breathe out, squeeze the lower abdomen. Now breathe in nicely. Fill up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now exhale longer. Inhale. Increase the level of your exhale. Inhale. 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 Now increase the exhale. Inhale. And as you exhale, empty out nicely, even better. Take the lower abdomen inside. Inhale. Deep exhale. Four more times. Inhale. Three more times. Inhale. And exhale. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Really, you feel completely emptied out, right? So we saved, so you can write down, we saved 12 minutes in your life today. So your life has increased by 12 minutes. So whatever subscriptions you have, increase it by 12 minutes.
Prabhuji, sorry, I missed, I had to step out a little bit. I missed this. What is this talking about? Save 12 minutes. I had to just go help Mihir with his cooking.
What is that?
What you talking about this? You save 12 minutes and
Yeah. Okay.
What is that?
I asked you also in the beginning, I asked you the question, then I think you were missing that time. So I said, how many times does a human breathe every minute?
Wait a minute. So around 12 to 20 per minute. And the child would breathe, depends on the child, is around 60. But as you grow older, it becomes a little slower.
Yeah. Depending on how much is your phone usage, how many friends you have, whatever, right?
No, but kids breathe faster. You see.
Yeah, today adults are kids only with all social media. Hmm?
Yes,
So,
yes.
so their breathing, their feelings are the same as the kids. There is no difference. So what we are trying to do here is, if say average 12 to 20, say you take 15 breaths.
Okay.
When we did Ujjayi, we breathed only 4 times per minute at the speed
Wow.
at which we did.
Right.
So that means instead of taking 14 or 15 breaths, you took only 4 breaths. So you saved 11 breaths
Right.
every minute.
Mm-hmm.
So that means if you continue like this, you can save. So you saved actually 11 breaths, 3 minutes of your life.
Okay. Right.
Because your
Okay.
life is measured in terms of breaths. So breaths, 4 breaths in a minute. So then you convert that breaths into minutes. So I said we breathe for 6 minutes now into 4. So
Yeah.
every minute you saved 11. So literally you saved 66
Yeah.
breaths. So you are already saved about 12, 13 minutes you have saved, right? So that's what I'm saying.
Prabhuji, you are saying all the time we should be breathing like this? Like,
So the point is that the deeper and slower you breathe, the more healthier and energy. So you are saying that pranayama helped you, correct?
yes.
That is because prana, when you breathe slowly, the main thing is the faster you breathe, it shows the amount of mental disturbance you have. It amplifies or multiplies the amount of mental disturbance that we have. That is vata.
Yes, that is correct. Because people with anxiety hyperventilate.
Yes. So you are a doctor. So that's the point, you know. So when you are hyper, so that means your mind is hyper. So if you breathe slowly, you are controlling the activity of the mind. You're controlling your reaction time. When you're angry, your reaction time is very fast, correct?
Right.
Right? Unfriend, block, everything at one moment we can do, right? When you're angry. So, but if you calm down, you'll take 1 minute to unfriend, then 1 minute to block. What I'm saying is, you will be able to approach situations very calmly. Very calmly. So the breath matters a lot. Even in anger, see, the biggest destruction of body is by anger. You don't know how many hormones and how much of brain damage it does when you get angry. The only exception is if you get angry on the kid, which is unavoidable. But all other anger causes serious problems. So you see, during anger only, the anxiety, all these things happen. It actually reduces your immunity. So anxiety and anger, they reduce your immunity like anything. So one of the best ways to overcome that is by deeper breathing. So the more you are able to keep your back straight, so that means the prana is streamlined. All the prana, all the airs are getting streamlined. Pranavayu, apanavayu. Then you keep the hand in the proper mudra, and then you breathe deeply, like we did. And it is said this Ujjayi helps in digestion, helps in controlling anxiety, stress, everything. And this is the main part of asana also. The more deeper you breathe during asana practice, the more benefit you get. Ujjayi can be done even while walking. You're walking, you're sitting in a car as a passenger, maybe not when you're driving, because if you're focusing on breath, then, you know, I don't know, that might be the last breath. So it's better to be careful. So it's better to do when you are free, you know, like, so whenever you are relaxed, free, you're sitting in one place, do a mudra, do deep breathing. So you can see when you're driving, you have to be constantly focused. You cannot focus on breathing until and unless you are like used to the map. I don't know how, just your auto going, you know. But if you are calm, you have to focus on the deeper breathing aspect. So the more in the day you are able to hold the do the mudras and calm down, the better your sleep quality, better the quality of everything that you do. So pranayama is to slow down, is to calm down. Yes, what was the question?
Yeah, actually, Vayu Mudra really helped. Actually, last night I was having headache and I couldn't sleep. But as soon as I did Vayu Mudra, it really helped, and it's like very deep sleep.
Yeah, I I've given it to few people who had insomnia, and headache is again vata. So if you do the Vayu Mudra with deep breathing, definitely there is a beautiful effect. You get good sleep. Two things I recommend if you want good sleep. One is Gajendra Moksha. In the Bhagavatam, it says that if you read Gajendra Moksha, it gives you good sleep. Gajendra Moksha and Vayu Mudra. Two things. You can read Gajendra Moksha while holding Vayu Mudra also.
Gyan Mudra is not good, Vayu Mudra is more beneficial for insomnia than Gyan Mudra, is it?
Then Jnana Mudra. Yes, Vayu Mudra is more like strong. It's like more healing. Jnana Mudra is more at a subtle platform.
Okay.
When you are Jnani, right? Not right now. But anyway, in general for meditation, it does benefit. But if you, Vayu Mudra definitely helps calm down the air. And it gives you really good results. I've seen it give really good results to myself also. See, here in the evening, after a lot of daily work, in the side, both sides here, you feel you feel kind of unsteady, or you feel like shaky. But the moment I do the Vayu Mudra, it calms down, both sides. Restless legs, restless body, all restlessness goes away. And that's what you need for a good sleep. You need all restlessness to go away. So that is why if you practice this deeper pranayam with the proper mudra, you will get an amazing effect. So that's why I did the mudras part. And this weekend I'm releasing my book on the mudras on Amazon. Okay, I'll send you all the link. Okay, so this mudra, it's very, very beneficial, and it will heal a lot. It will heal you like anything. It's very powerful. So for today, this pranayam, the more you can do deeper, Ujjayi. So if you get the Ujjayi practice properly, then we have to do the Anulom Vilom. Okay. But what I'll do is I'll keep a session midweek. But I wanted to keep a session tomorrow, that is Monday, because it is the new moon, the day of full fasting. I wanted to do a meditation. How many of you will be able to make it tomorrow? Show your hands. In the evening.
What time, Prabhu?
See, we have people from East Coast also, so we cannot do it very early. The earliest I think we can do is maybe 6 p.m. Pacific. That'll be 9 p.m. Eastern. So like those who are in Eastern, it's a good time to sleep, right? You do the meditation and then go straight to sleep. It's the new moon. And 6 p.m. you can do 6 to 7, 1 hour. So 9 p.m. I'm good. Okay, yeah. So one East Coast person is good. Yeah, we will, yeah. So but 6 to 7 is this. So, okay. So 6 to 7 Eastern. Okay, Paka? So I'll just make an announcement. So it's the new moon. New moon, if you do meditation, then many doshas go away from your horoscope also. What is that? Pitr dosh, all these things, they go away.
Because but it is the mode of ignorance, right? The time.
What is sleep?
For us, it's the time is in mode of ignorance.
Yeah. So that is good for sleep, I said. So we'll do the meditation, then you can sleep.
Prabhu, at what time is that, Prabhu? At 5 o'clock PST? Is it? 6
PST, 8 your time. So we'll do it's like a good meditation to take rest.
Is it possible to do it 5:30? 5:30?
5:30 Pacific, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
We have to go for, like Aam Aadmi Party, we'll go for what?
5:30.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, okay. Second.
8
For Ashish, 5 is tough. 5:30 looks okay, Mataji.
Yeah, 5:30 is okay, Prabhu.
5:30 is maximum doable.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we will meet again tomorrow then at 5:30. Okay. Tomorrow is new moon, full fast. Just drink this dragon fruit, not dragon fruit, whatever fruit you have. Tomorrow, new moon. And it's then after that, like I said, you don't take it light. Take like soup, only focus on lunch for 1 week, that too gradually increasing. Don't eat solids the next day. You can take soups, other things. That's why I put smoothies, because fruit doesn't harm. But those who have sugar, yes, or cough, then go for soups. And then in that way continue. 1 week only build up lunch. So let us also finish this nicely. Once you do it, you will feel very good. The whole cycle once you complete. Okay. All right. So we will all meet tomorrow.
Tomorrow, just as Chia